Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Krishna from Australia and I would like to welcome you all back to another episode of Tell Me More, where I interview inspiring women from all over the world who join me for a quick chat and tell me more about what inspires them and what makes them so unique. Now today's episode is all about art. It's so important because it allows us to start conversations around things that really matter. And our guest today is extremely special because she uses her talent and her art to start important conversations around topics such as culture and identity. Some of her work is woman-centric, and she's in the process of constantly reinventing her art and reinventing her traditions and cultures to suit the more modern-day environment that she is in. So without further ado, I would like to welcome our guest for today, Amardeep Shergill, who is an artist based in Melbourne. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Krishna. And thank you so much for that lovely introduction. You summed it up really well in terms of, what an artist, a role an artist plays in the society.
Thank you so much, Amardeep. Being an artist is not easy, and it comes with its own sets of challenges. And especially when you are trying to tackle difficult issues such as identity, cultural differences, assimilating into a new country, topics that people don't often want to touch on, it gets even more harder. So despite all of these sort of challenges, what inspired you to continue being an artist, and what was your initial inspiration?
I guess there's so many different things. So it would be really hard to say and pin it down to one thing. But maybe I guess in what you were just saying, what inspires me is that as migrants, so I came here as an 11-year-old. So I consider myself as an Indian Australian, and I think that journey of migration was really inspiring for me to see who I am, to actually question that. Even though we come from another country, another place, and that we have lots of stories, that these are important stories, that these are important part of a journey of migration. And I think what else inspired me to become an artist is that freedom that you just spoke about, that freedom to be myself, the freedom to be who I am, and to actually on daily basis to choose the life I want to have. And that's come through this process or this journey of being an artist, that ability to express to myself and to others what's important for me. So it hasn't been a straight path. It's actually been a lot. So it's been a bit of a journey, but to say the least, I think coming from India at a young age, and being in Australia and then coming into the art world to study art, it started to really inspire me that I could translate some of our traditions, or I could look into some of our cultural traditions and innovate them in a sense that I'm bridging this connection between who I am and where I've come from. So looking back is a very important thing that keeps me going.
It's also about representing your culture, and that you came to Australia as a very young girl, and now you've sort of embraced this new country, but you want to hang on to your traditions as well. You're doing important work because you represent so many other women and people like yourself, and they don't have to be of Indian origin. Where do you see your art in the long term, and what do you see it achieving in the community?
I guess I never became I never became aware of how that is an important thing. So what I'm doing is an important thing until I started putting my work out there. I guess I wasn't always very confident as an artist because I was different and I had my own challenges of becoming an artist. But once I started to have the work out there, I found that it has this universal language that, like you said, people from all over can relate to that journey. And as human beings, I think we look back and we reflect and we hold on to who we are. And so, at any single moment when I'm creating art, it's always for myself because I'm inspired to make something. But once it's out there in the world, I think then people start to have a relationship with the concepts and context of that work, and then that really innovates it for me, because when that comes back to me as to how other people see themselves represented, started to give a new meaning for me. And that's when I think it wasn't something that I was aware of initially till I was exhibiting, and I started to realize that from the response I was getting that actually this is something really important, and I'm inspired to continue bridging that link between the art and the audience.
Really well said, and that's so important. Now, I did want to touch upon something a little bit more personal, is that your great-grandmother was one of your first inspirations behind one of your art pieces, and you have said that a lot of your work is women-centric, and it also highly focuses on the experiences and struggles of women, and you try to show that through your art. So what do you hope for your art to achieve in the future with regards to women in general and perhaps even women empowerment in the community?
I hope that we own our own stories. I hope that we write our own stories. I hope that we speak to ourselves as well as to others what's important to us and how we want to be seen. I feel like being an artist has taught me that there's a lot of stereotypes, within and outside the community, and you're constantly trying to reassess and shift that as a woman, as an artist. That journey, even though it's challenging, it's still really rewarding. So I want women to basically just follow through with their heart, like follow your passion and be driven to do what you want to do, not necessarily based on what you should do. So I think if me doing what I love doing achieves that, even for one person, I'm really that's going beyond my expectation. So I hope that women look at these works and they see their stories and also touch on subjects that are not easy to talk about. I never realized that I'm often, not just talking about the struggles of being, from Indian Australian background, but I'm also looking at the most inspirational stories of women from India, from Punjab, for example, in my own family that I just look at and I go, wow, that's amazing. And so these are really important things. And I think basically, in short, maybe what I can say in the end is that, be who you are. It doesn't matter in what field. It is so important that you know your own story and you're telling it in the way that you want to.
I think on that note, as an artist, what is your mantra for success?
To be yourself, to trust your intuition. So I would say this over and over again, that your intuition will guide you better than any person in your life. So always trust your intuition, and don't let anything come in the way of what you want to achieve in life. I really think there's a lot of women who hold back, thinking what will others think. So we need to get over that.
Yeah, I think what will others think is the biggest limitation that we put on ourselves as not just women but as individuals. So many people hold themselves back because of that. Well, thank you so much, Amardeep, for that amazing insight into who you are as a person. I am a big fan of all of your art, and I wish that I could share it with the entire world and all the viewers who would see this. So just really quickly, why don't you tell us about something that you are working on currently at all, if you are, and also how our viewers can get in touch with you or connect with you online.
So at the moment, I have an exhibition here in Brunswick East on Lygon Street at the Barrows store. So if anyone wants to see the current body of work that I've just exhibited, it's there. It's online at thebarrows.com, at thebarrowsstore.com. Otherwise, my website, amardeepshergill.com, or I'm more active on Instagram. So yeah, you can find me there.
Okay, well, that was us talking to the talented artist Amardeep Shergill. Amardeep, thank you so much for giving us some of your time today.
Thank you so much, Krishna, and I'm really inspired by what you do as well, and I love that we connected.
Well, thank you so much, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, well, that was us talking to Amardeep Shergill, and that brings us to the end of today's episode. In the words of Albert Einstein, creativity is contagious, so pass it on. If you were inspired by Amardeep's story, just like I have been, maybe you can tap into your own creative potential and use your creative talents to make an impact on your community just like Amardeep has. If you found this episode to be interesting, don't forget to leave a comment below and maybe leave the name of another inspirational woman that you would like me to interview. Until then, have a nice day and